I wonder what you learned from skateboarding that bled into the things that you are kind of doing back then. And even because there's this whole thing about skateboarding is that no matter how good you are, you're bound to fall a couple of times every time you take that skateboard out of the house.
And that's actually, that's a really great observation, because relative to my friends, I noticed every few weeks, you know, we would be at a new destination and they'd be trying to jump and ollie like a 5-set or a 3-set of stairs. And I had to work my way up to a 3-set and then really work my way up to a 5. And at that point, I knew I was done. I was like, I don't want anything bigger than this 5, because that just gave me the adrenaline boost I needed, the right amount of risk, and that's about it. But then my friends moved to 7, 10, 15. And so I would cheer them on. But there was just literally no desire in me to go any further, because there was no greater joy that I was going to receive from it. And in fact, the joy turned into fear. And then in that, for me, there was no joy. And it wasn't that fear that drives you to want to accomplish something or try something. It was just like, this isn't for me. Like, I'm not going to get any more joy out of it. So I think skateboarding taught me, you got to try and try and try and try again until you get it. I couldn't ollie until, the longest time, and then I was able to do it. Then I had to learn how to do it while moving. Then I had to learn how to do it on and off objects. Then the same thing with kickflips, doing it in a steady position, then moving. Same with pop shove-its, everything else. And the wonderful thing is that I think bleeds into, at least in the creative work that I was doing early on, which is just try again, and also watch and emulate. Because I got to see people who are way better than me do some amazing things, but they also did it with such grace and class and elegance, right? Like when you're, ollieing over a 5-set of stairs or off a ledge, and you're doing it with such grace, and you get that air time and whatever else, I'm like, you start to internalize and visualize, wow, I'd like to be able to do it that way. Same thing in design. You look at the greats around you and you start to wonder, how did they make it? And then you start to emulate, and you try to at least begin there with replication before you start to find your own style and everything else too. So I think skateboarding definitely bled into sort of the psychology and the approach. And that was a great observation. I wouldn't have connected the two.
That's really cool that you described the ollie, that first you kind of go in the grass. So the skateboard doesn't
exactly.
move.
And also when you do wipe out, it's a bit more, less blood.
You're like, wait, so I have to push on this side and then drag my feet up. And then you're like, how do I go up?
Yeah.
And you're right. Like when you see somebody who's mastered it and they would jump over like school bags or.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great memory. Absolutely.
So wait, the skateboard that you had, was it bent on both sides or just the classic Bart Simpson style?
It was just regular skateboard growing up. And now as an adult, again, because I just have to make sure that, I can still be a functioning adult, I have a longboard. So I cruise by the beach in Toronto and really enjoy that. And it's peaceful, and I listen to music. And, I just cruise for a few kilometers at a time, and I just feel like I'm floating, and it's a nice, peaceful place. I still have my trick deck. And I managed to corral a bunch of buddies at PwC, and we've been to the skate park in the beaches. That's so cool. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff that still happens, that childhood things that come back that bring joy.
That's really cool. I'm amazed that you've still retained that part of you, that side of you. That's really cool. I was into rollerblading, skateboarding. I still have a skateboard here somewhere. And but I gave up on all of that stuff. Then I used to play tennis, and then I just slowly just stuck to just cross training, running, and cycling.
That's great. Those
which
are really
explains
healthy.
the cycle back there.